Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. What's next for you? Visit cnext.bank for more, and thanks so much for making the Digital Weather Desk part of your day. It is a little after lunchtime on the Monday before Christmas here on December 22nd. Thanks for hanging out with us for a few minutes. Not an overly aggressive look at the forecast. If you have followed for any stretch of time now, you know that we are in a very quiet and dry pattern, and to the detriment of the Arclimus, really, because we need some rainfall. Hopefully going to work some of that in late this weekend, but until then, any rain that we see is expected to stay pretty spotty and light. This morning's forecast, this afternoon's forecast made possible by ServPro Monroe West Monroe, here to help 24/7. Call or click servpro.com today. Some breaks in the clouds, a little bit of sunshine. So I have tweaked the forecast to go from cloudy to mostly cloudy. Still quite a bit of cloud cover out there. But there are some breaks here and there, and most of us are not seeing rainfall. Radar made possible by Brown's Roofing. Schedule your free roof inspection at brownsroofingla.com, where we are seeing the shower activity. Most of it's across southern Mississippi, east of the I-55 corridor. If you have friends or family, or if you yourself are traveling from Brookhaven or over to Hattiesburg or some of those areas as you get ready to celebrate Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Again, most of this is very light, but that's the only really sustained legitimate rain that we've seen so far this morning. As we go into the early afternoon, I'll look back at the low temperatures from the day. These are unofficial, of course, but 46 in Monticello is the cool spot on the map. Mid to upper 50s generally along the I-20 corridor, and then some low 50s sprinkled in across the rest of southern Arkansas. Currently, most of us mid to upper 60s to right at 70 degrees. In fact, Monroe and Natchez have both been at 70 for about the past 20 minutes or so. El Dorado up to 65, same in Monticello, 73. Oh, that's a new number in Vicksburg. They are up a few degrees from last hour, 68 in Columbia and in Winsboro. Dew points starting to climb as well. This is a pretty humid air mass, and that's going to set the stage for some fog development and cloud cover through the overnight hours over the next few days. It's a warm front that's just kind of, well, it was the old cold front that is now retreated northward as a warm front and reestablishing these strong southerly winds, generally in the 5 to 10 mile an hour range, but I wouldn't be surprised as we go into the afternoon hours to maybe see some 12 or 13 mile an hour sustained winds over the next, like I said, 2, 3, 4 hours. And then as the sun sets, the winds will die down again tonight. That sets the stage for some fog development. Overnight tonight, it's a little bit more questionable, but I wouldn't be surprised to at least see some visibility drops overnight. Western sections of the Arclimus, specifically the Mississippi Valley, the winds may stay strong enough to where it's not as big of a concern tonight as it will be for tomorrow night, going into Wednesday morning, which is Christmas Eve morning. Again, expect the early morning fog development becoming fairly widespread by around daybreak. It shouldn't hang around too terribly long, so if you're doing some early morning driving on Christmas Eve, be aware that fog could be a possibility. Again, doesn't hang around for terribly long, but by mid to late morning should be gone. Check the upper level pattern. And again, I think this is a pretty important take on the forecast over the next few days as we continue with above average temperatures, and an expanding ridge of high pressure aloft will continue to move east. That provides sinking, compressing, warming air in the atmosphere. There will eventually be a shot of cold air by the end parts of this week, really probably Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but it looks to be generally just some scattered showers, and it doesn't look to be a big sweeping storm system. Futurecast made possible, by the way, by Bayou Power Sports, I-20 frontage road in Monroe. So as we go into Christmas Eve afternoon, again, high pressure aloft is continuing to provide southwesterly winds aloft, a general warming trend, but along that note, again, we're basically right under the base of this ridge that's centered over the northern Gulf, so sinking, compressing, warming air in the environment. It's not going to foster a lot of cloud cover. It's not going to allow for a lot of rain chances. What cloud cover we do muster will be during the overnight hours, because this is still a pretty warm and humid air mass for this time of year. So as the air cools, clouds and even the fog will be a possibility over the next few mornings. By Christmas Day or Christmas afternoon, we're still seeing temperatures climbing into the mid to maybe even the upper 70s routinely. But by the upcoming weekend, you start to see some colder air pooling to our north. Again, it doesn't really make much of a difference through the rest of the work week. By Saturday, Sunday, though, you start seeing a larger pool of colder air over the Dakotas. And then eventually we get a cold front through the daytime hours on Saturday that swings through the region, and you can see that cooler air surging southward. I don't think it's a dramatically colder air mass. It actually just kind of gets us back closer to where we should be for this time of year. The other takeaway from this is there is such a brief opportunity for our upper level winds. If you were to go back to what we were looking at, in fact, we can, but I'm not going to. There was such a brief window of opportunity for those subtropical moisture winds to get back in. So those deep southwesterly winds, they were there for a brief period of time, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but then once we get the cold front in, it's back to the northwesterly pattern aloft, which essentially means cool, dry air. So even when we're getting cold fronts, we're not getting much in the way of rain chances. This is the forecast rainfall over the next 5 days. And I laugh because it had very limited rainfall on it before I threw it into the graphics lineup. And apparently this graphic just got updated by the Weather Prediction Center, and it has even less rainfall on it. Which, again, in all seriousness, is a true bummer, because here's a look at the drought monitor, and this is where we kind of leave the forecast. Moderate drought conditions, we'll get a new one on Christmas Day. Abnormally dry conditions across the rest of the region. Again, this is only updated once a week. Hello, Louisiana Cooker on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. And that's where we are midday on this Monday before Christmas. Daytime highs today back in the low 70s. Cloudy, warm. Again, a spotty shower not out of the question. Really over the entire area. Winds will be out of the southeast. Patchy fog a possibility tonight. Cloudy, warm, and muggy. Lows back in the low 60s. Upper 50s are not out of the question, especially along the Mississippi Valley where the fog may not be as widespread. Aside from that, it's more of the same for the rest of the week. And I really hope I'm driving this point home. I don't want folks stressed about the weather, because aside from the fog, aside from visibility issues overnight, there's not a whole lot to talk about this week. Daytime highs will stay in the mid-70s, morning lows upper 50s to low 60s. The front Saturday could bring some showers on Sunday. In fact, I've bumped the rain chances up area-wide for Sunday. That is an entire week away. If you're talking about rain chances 6-7 days away and you're talking about them with optimism, we don't really have a lot to talk about. Temperatures still well above normal for this time of year. So again, travel in the immediate central and southern United States should be smooth. Again, I don't control the airlines, but I don't really see any weather-related issues in terms of, airline travel in the central and southern United States through much of this week. So all systems go in that regard. 7-day forecast is always made possible by 3B Hardware. They get you squared away for the rest of the wintertime months. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app. Again, I just updated all the numbers. I say updated all the numbers. I looked through all the numbers, and if they needed to be updated, I did. There's a lot of numbers didn't really need to be bothered. Fishing game comes out later tonight. I will join you for another live stream later this afternoon. But as I mentioned during the early morning stream, and if you missed that, I just want to kind of reiterate, we are going into holiday mode here at the Floyd House. The mobile studio, if you want to call it that, I don't know. I'm bringing a computer with me. So I'll be able to do updates, live streams if needed. I wouldn't expect a lot of live streams, though, especially Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I'll probably do some video updates and some other updates along the way. Forecast will continue to get updated on the app and on the website. We'll spend some time with our family. We'll enjoy some unseasonably warm temperatures and some very quiet conditions. And then, obviously, we'll kind of turn our attention toward that weekend front. But still daily updates, but the routine content schedule will obviously start getting disrupted starting tomorrow afternoon. Aside from that, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Again, looks like mostly cloudy skies with some breaks in those clouds for the next couple of hours. Rain chances are slim, but they're still there. And fog is our biggest concern tonight and tomorrow night. So exercise caution on the roadways. And we'll keep you updated on that with any advisories that are needed. Have a great day, and thanks so much for making the Digital Weather Desk powered by CenturyNext Bank part of your day. Have a great day, everybody.